Good projection system, so if you can get a little bit closer if you want to hear what's going on, but not too close because we're social distancing as much as possible. Hi everybody, my name is Jedlica. I am the Executive Director of Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper, and it's wonderful to see so many people here today to celebrate this ribbon cutting and this grand opening of the North Tonawanda Botanical Gardens Living Shorelines project. So I'm joined today by quite a few people who actually made this project happen, and also many of you in the audience as well. So I'm just going to real quick run a show. We have some guest speakers here to talk about their impressions of the site and what it means to this community. We'll run through some of the talking points of what we did here and the impacts that we expect to have. And at the end, we'll just have a short Q&A for folks that want to ask questions about the project. And then we can all walk around and take a look at the site. So with me is New York State Senator Robert Org. We also have Assemblymember Bill Conrad. We have North Tonawanda Mayor Art Pappas. We have the Chair of the Greenway Ecological Standing Committee, Tim DePriest. And we also have the President of the North Tonawanda Botanical Gardens, Dave Conti. Also want to acknowledge many other folks with us today. First and foremost, my colleague Emily Root, who is the project manager of this project, so the unsung hero for making this happen. We have representatives from Wendell and Ecological Resources. We also have the North Tonawanda Parks Department. We have representatives from the East Hill Foundation who provided much needed support for this project, as well as the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo. We also have Greg Stevens from the Greenway, Doug Taylor from Lumber City Development Corporation, and the Council President Robert Conferaro, did I get that right, from the North Tonawanda Chamber of Commerce. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. It's great to have all of you here as well. So we are here today to celebrate the completion of this Living Shorelines project, but this time along Tonawanda Creek. This is both a historic and ecologically significant waterway in Western New York. And I've heard before a wonderful quote that says, "Water is neither red nor blue. It's either clean or dirty, or it's accessible or it's not." And this project is another example of the positive impact that we collectively are having on our shared community assets through extensive partnerships, collaboration, and the numerous funding sources that have come together. Nature-based shorelines are attempting to rehabilitate our waterways and claw back our natural shorelines that we have lost over time, of which the Niagara River watershed, which Tonawanda Creek is a major tributary, we have seen a degradation of over 80% of our shorelines in this region. What we're attempting to do with this project and many projects alike are to reshape the shorelines, to reclaim portions of parking lots. We reuse dead ash trees and repurpose them for habitat. We're capturing stormwater runoff and cleaning it before it hits the creek. We're planting native trees, shrubs, and installing emergent and subemergent aquatic habitat. We've also improved fishing access and made ADA accessible trails and educational signage. We want these spaces to be open and available for everyone to enjoy. We've created a space for both nature and humans to enjoy. With all of Waterkeeper's projects, our goal is to identify, design, and implement projects that have the greatest impacts, both to benefit the economy, the ecology, and the community. We've always said that life thrives where water meets the land. That goes for nature as well as the human species. Here in the North Tonawanda Botanical Garden, this is a prime example and location for this to happen. It's also the latest success that we have in ecological restoration in this corridor, extending impact now farther upstream from some of the work that we previously had done on Ellicott Island. And we're just getting started here in Tonawanda Creek. So why do we do these projects, these smaller projects? These smaller targeted projects are prioritized for their ecological impact. They demonstrate how simple design and rethinking how we interact with our shorelines can benefit not only the water quality and habitat, but the communities around us. These kinds of projects will also provide necessary coastal resilience to climate change that we are already enduring. The increase in intensity and flashiness of storms that we just experienced again this past Friday. Quality of life investments are an investment in our communities and the local economies, and this is when we need it the most. And finally, these projects look to inspire citizens in stewardship of our natural world, for waterfront residents to also learn and potentially implement their own living shorelines projects wherever possible. Finally, Finally, these projects don't magically appear out of nowhere, and they don't construct themselves. So we are grateful for the collaboration of so many partners over the years and the support of numerous funders that came together for this nearly $450,000 project. We are hopeful that the visitors and residents of North Tonawanda and the visitors to the North Tonawanda Botanical Gardens will find enjoyment and inspiration here and for generations to come. So thank you all who made this happen. I'd now like to introduce State Senator Rob Orr.
Thank you, Jill. Great to be here with you all today. Greg Stevens, I really appreciate that optimistic attire. It is a little chillier, but Greg, hey, we always say it's 80 degrees and sunny in North Tonawanda. Greg believes it's true. But great to see a lot of you here today. I am certainly not going to get into talking about the ecological benefits and impacts of this, because saying the word ecological is probably the limit of my knowledge of a lot of that stuff. But I want to thank the Waterkeeper. I want to thank our partners at the Canal Corporation in New York State, Brian Stratton, the director, who is a great partner and has been a great director for many years. Certainly my colleague in the Assembly, Bill Conrad, who you'll hear from. City of North Tonawanda, Mayor Pappas, the North Tonawanda Parks Department for their cooperation in making this happen. But really the Waterkeeper and their initiative and the workers who came out here to make this happen. I think when you see the leaders who are here today, it underscores the significance of the canal and the waterfront to the city of North Tonawanda and to Western New York as a whole. When we talk about the city of North Tonawanda, when we talk about economic development, a lot of times we think about brick and mortars and we think about buildings, but this is an asset that not a lot of other communities have. The Botanical Gardens is an asset that not a lot of other communities have, and if you don't have it, you can't replicate it. And we need to take care of it. We need to make sure we're improving access. There's going to be new signage here, ADA compliance, more access to the canal front. That is a huge, huge deal when you talk about attracting new families, new people to North Tonawanda. This is what they want. This is what they want. They want to be able to access the waterfront. And for a long time, we know in Western New York, we've had a great waterfront, but we haven't been able to access it. And obviously, these kinds of projects go a long way to improving that. Obviously, it's great for the environment. Obviously, we're restoring Shoreline, which is critical because we know that erodes over time. And were it not for groups like the Waterkeeper, this would not be possible. Obviously, the Greenway and the funding that they help provide goes a long way, because as Jill said, it's a small project, but at $450,000, it's pretty big to a lot of us here. And so I want to thank Jill. I want to thank her team. I want to thank the Greenway, the Canal Corp, and certainly the City of North Tonawanda and the Parks Department and the Botanical Gardens Association. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize them as well. So with that, I'm going to shut up, and I have a little recognition. I'm going to hand over to Jill. Thank you all for being here again.
Thank you.
Jill, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Senator. And I also just want to acknowledge, and I apologize, I was remiss in acknowledging the Canal Corporation, who is the landowner of the site. The state is a huge partner in all the work that we do through their agencies and their efforts. So I just want to make sure that we acknowledge them as well. Also, no stranger to environmental issues and the importance of those issues to our communities is Assemblymember Bill Conrad.
I was just commenting to Senator Ort. I thought we were the only people not in Tennessee this weekend. Glad to see so many of you have stayed in the beautiful North Tonawanda. Anyway, the Buffalo Waterkeepers and all our partners here, public and private and in government, have made this partnership happen with the Waterkeepers. And they do this across Western New York. They take these shorelines and they make it accessible, these outdoor spaces for folks to be able to enjoy. And Senator Ort and I were not too long ago this summer going to a Boys and Girls Club summer camp, and we were walking up and down this canal, and it felt like we were in Wyoming County. But here we are in North Tonawanda, we're watching kids fish, watching boats go down the canal, and seeing this accessibility, not just for Boys and Girls Club, but for the whole community to happen, is an outstanding thing that makes this area unique. So I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'll leave it at that. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Assembly Member. I'd also like now to bring up the Mayor of North Tonawanda, Art Pappas.
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. And it turned out to be a good one. At least so far, the rain has held off, and we're just as excited and happy about this project as we could be here in North Tonawanda. And as the Senator referred to it, we look at this as our little paradise here. And a lot of people are not in Tennessee. They're here because this is paradise.
That's right.
And that's what we look at. And I always say that the only reason anyone leaves North Tonawanda is so that they can come back. And if they didn't leave, they couldn't come back. They're coming back. And this project is going to bring more of our own residents, community members, surrounding areas, and people from distant areas right here to our community. And we're so proud of that. And we're so proud of the fact that the Waterkeeper organization has partnered with so many to bring this about. And a lot of names, a lot of things have already been mentioned, but it's very important because they've all contributed to this either directly or indirectly. And we have the North Tonawanda Parks Department, which was mentioned, the North Tonawanda Botanical Garden Organization, New York State Canal Corporation, with funding through the Greenway Ecological Fund, the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo, the East Hill Foundation, local companies, Wendell and Ecological Restoration Incorporated, were all contracted by Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper to complete the restoration project. And the reason I think that's worth repeating is because it just re-emphasizes the idea that through collaboration, cooperation, working together, even if it takes longer, and sometimes it does, look at the result. We have an ecological treasure which will only be further increased in terms of educational opportunities, not just for visitors, but for our own students here in North Tonawanda. Already, students from our schools have been a part of this, have been learning, have been having hands-on activities, and all of this is only going to promote the botanical gardens and ecology, and what's good for the environment is good for all of us, and that's going to be promoted through this type of program. So I'll stop there, just thanking everyone for being here and thanking all these groups, all these people, volunteers who've come together cooperatively to make a better community, a better situation, and a safe and healthy community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. It's an honor to do work here in the city, and we hope to do more projects here with you. So thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite up Tim DePriest. He is the chair of the Greenway Ecological Standing Committee and is one of the major funders for making this project a reality. Tim?
Thanks, Greg. I really just want to express my gratitude and congratulations to the staff at Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper for making this project happen. Congratulations, because this is I think the final installment in the recent round of projects. And the Greenway Ecological Standing Committee has always been a supporter of Waterkeeper and their efforts to improve the riparian corridors and the Niagara River Greenway, going back to 2009 when this kind of program just first got off the ground, doing small sites, taking a baby step approach. And we were pretty impressed with what we saw produced in the first couple of years. We said, keep going and go bigger. So that's why I want to express gratitude to Waterkeeper, because these projects are not easy. They present a lot of challenges from an ecological restoration perspective. So, but they've proven the ability to do it and do it well, and let's keep going. These serve as great examples for the entire Greenway. And so looking to the future, we look forward to seeing more of these excellent projects come into fruition. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim and Greg from the Greenway Ecological Standing Committee for making this happen. Finally, I'd like to invite up one of the key partners, because as Tim said, these projects are not easy, but when you have committed partners who are there with you every step of the way, enabling you to have it happen, it makes it much more enjoyable, although it's easy for me to say, not for Emily, who actually had to deal with it on a daily basis. But I'd like to invite up Dave Conti, who's the president of the North Tonawanda Botanical Gardens.
I'll be very brief. I see a lot of our NTBGO members here, so I want to thank them for getting on board with this and getting this rolling a couple of years ago, and kudos to you for staying involved in this and having this come out the way it did. Biggest thing I could say here is it's great to have this project right in our backyard. It gives our municipal government and our citizens, our residents, a front row seat to see a project like this evolve and happen. And then we also get the laboratory right here in our backyard, which is the best part of it all. It's right here. So that would probably be the end of what I have to say, but there's one other caveat in it for me. As our chief water operator, anytime I see our source water getting cleaned up and restored, that's a great plus. So I'm going to say, Jill and Greg, let's keep doing this. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you. All right, that's all the prepared remarks we have for today, and so we'll take it up for any questions if folks have questions about the project.
What was here before? What did it look like before?
Okay. This is Emily Root. She's our project manager, so she can answer a lot of those technical questions.
Awesome. So yeah, before this was mostly mowed lawn, very flat mowed lawn. A portion of was actually the parking lot, so the parking lot actually extended probably about halfway to the water from where we're standing right now. So really not very ecologically productive habitats. A lot of geese and geese droppings all along the area that we're washing right into the creek, adding to the nutrient problem within the creek. So we have some pictures on our signage where you can really see what it looked like before. It's helpful to see. Yeah, so we restored a number of really important habitats which have been lost throughout our region. So we restored several types of habitat here. So we have the riparian edge, which is, when in their natural form, it's really one of the most biologically productive places on Earth. So we pulled the shoreline back and created what we call a habitat cove, and we planted lots of aquatic vegetation in there and also added some recycled logs, which is helping to protect the shoreline from wave and boat wake action. So that area, we're already seeing a ton of minnows and tadpoles and wading birds using that area, turtles basking, so it's already working really well. We also have pollinator meadow habitat, so we're already seeing a lot of goldenrod blooming and asters blooming, and over the years there's going to be more and more species coming to life in that area, so really important for pollinators. And then we have a bioswale habitat, so that's where a little bit of a depression in the landscape, and that's going to collect all of the runoff from the land. It's going to filter into those lower areas that have, again, like more aquatic vegetation. That's going to soak up all the runoff and filter out nutrients and pollutants before it's entering the creek. So that's helping with that harmful algae blooms problem that we've been seeing here over the past couple of years. Emily Root, EMILYROOT. Any project manager, yeah.
Jill Jedlica. Jill Jedlica, JEDLICKA.
Any other questions before we wrap up?
No, we're just going to do a quick ceremonial ribbon cutting because I'm very excited about the big scissors again. This way, so, and then folks can just walk around the site. I'm so excited about the trail. Oh, that's okay.
Maybe we'll move this out of the way.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Good.
How you doing? Good to see you.